So we're live at Grand Prix-Washington D.C. and we're talking to Conley Woods. Conley, you've cooked up quite a successful deck here. Both you, Gavin Verhey, and Eric Froehlich are all playing it. Why don't you tell us a little about your deck?
So it's a basic Esper deck. I've been working on it for a few weeks. Quite may have seen on some websites. We're heavy on the mana. We have 31 mana sources, 27 lands, and 4 Ever-Flowing Chalice, which is basically more than any other deck in the format. Even the Planeswalker decks and Blue-White Control, they don't really run that many lands. They run maybe like 29, 28 mana sources total. But yeah, we're, I don't know, it's a slow Esper Control deck. A lot of discard synergies between Mind Shatter and Esper Charm. It's really big. Esper Charm actually in this deck is a Mind Rod, I would say at least half the time you cast it, which is a lot more than it was like in previous decks, like 5-color Control back in the day. We made the switch this week to add some Baneslayers to the deck. They weren't in there. We had a Liliana and like a Ulamog and a third Gideon in the main. And we added the Baneslayers. They've been really, really good though. Other than that, we just have full wall of them, which is pretty standard as creatures go. Draw spells, we have Mind Spring, 3 Jace, and good Jace obviously, and 4 Esper Charm. So you'll have a constant flow of cards from your hand. Gideon's other Planeswalker, he's pretty insane. We had to put a third in the board for like the Jund and Mythic matchups. Mythic and Naya. Path, Day of Judgment, pretty common removal, I would say. Both have been spectacular. All its does is a little strange, but it really gives you a solid out to Planeswalkers and Blue-White Control, and it's even good against like Behemoth Sledge out of Naya and all that stuff. It's been pretty excellent all day with 4 Ever-Flowing Chalice. We don't have a problem casting it, and so many people just walk right into it. And like against Planeswalkers, they almost have like 3 Planeswalkers in play, an O-Ring on your Gideon, and then like 2 Spreading Seas. You just 6-4 on them, and then get back your Gideon. It's pretty insane. Yeah, and then we have 8 creature lands, which is a lot more than most decks play. Get in there, attack Planeswalkers. They're usually your win conditions. Sometimes they're one with the Baneslayer, obviously, but those guys almost always go untouched. And if they do get Spreading Seas, you can always dust later to get rid of it. A couple of Tectonic Edge to help with the fact that we're running 27 lands, take out man lands, or creature lands, excuse me. Jund is only beating you with lands, basically. They almost never have a hand, because they're just Esper Charming them and Mind Shattering them. So yeah, it's a pretty good matchup. Jund's still probably the worst matchup. It's like 50-50, but other than that, both Eric Froehlich and I have not had any problems all day. The sideboards have been amazing. We've brought in every single card. Against Control, you have a 4th Jace, 3rd Gideon, some Duresses, Negates. You bring in Doomblade just to upgrade your path to kill their their creature lands. 1 Celestial Purchaser for Johnny Vengeance, because he could be the biggest problem out of like Planeswalkers. Baneslayer, the 4th, pretty common. Not too much super techie stuff in the sideboard, but it's been good all day.
Okay, so you said Jund was about a 50-50 matchup. What would you say are your bad matchups, and then what are your good matchups?
Planeswalker's probably the best matchup. If they're running no counter magic in the main deck, they have literally 0 chance game 1. I mean, their best chance is like a turn 4 Johnny, but you usually will get all his dust or something off, and like it's not very difficult. Blue-White's also very easy just because you have the same good cards against them as they do you, but then you have on top of that Mind Shatter and Esper Charm and All Dust, and those are things that like they're just not used to playing against. Jund, I mean, I thought Naya was going to be worse than it was, but it's not been a problem all day. Like Esper Charm getting rid of they usually hold like a creature in their hand to be able to draw a second one and trigger Vengevine, so like you get them during their draw step and make them discard 2 cards, it's usually really good. All Dust has been fantastic, Day Judgment has been fantastic. I really have not run into a matchup that I felt like I couldn't win, and I know that sounds cheesy, and a lot of people are always like, oh, this has no bad matchups, but I mean, I'm sure there are bad matchups, I just don't think there are any of the popular decks right now. This was an excellent choice for the tournament. Eric has not lost, he's lost 1 sideboard game all day, because like game 1 we kind of aimed to have everything 50-50 or like around that range, 60-40 in occasions, and then you board into a deck that just can't lose to that specific matchup, and that's basically how it's been. Like I've only lost, the only games I've lost have been to the matches I lost, and one was like a mold of 5, mold of 4 against Planeswalkers, and then other times it's just really poorly. Other than that, I've not lost a game against any of the decks I beat. It's just been really, really good. Gavin didn't do as well in day 1 because he played some more roguish strategies, like he played a Jund deck with Goblin Rune Blaster and Trace of Abundance, so it was a little more awkward for him. He couldn't Tectonic Edge, any lands, and was getting his mana blown up. Rune Blaster can be a problem, but not many decks are running that right now. So.
Fair enough. Now, who do you credit for coming up with the deck? Is it yours solely, or did you have help from Eric and Gavin?
No, it's pretty much mine solely. We have a Facebook thread. We've been posting about this in San Juan and throwing ideas around. But Eric likes to challenge me to make sure that I'm like staying on target. Like he'll like this looks bad or whatever, and I was like, no, it doesn't, and then defend it. And usually once I defend it and put a couple paragraphs up, like he backs down. But he just wants to make sure that like I've kind of got a tight list. And yeah, he's been on board the whole time. Gavin, he's pretty much set to play my decks every tournament now. So yeah, I talked to a few people. The Baneslayers were late edition. That was one thing I didn't really have in the original list. So that was kind of a conglomeration between us. But other than that, pretty much the list has been this way for 3 weeks now. I was going to play it in national qualifiers, but I couldn't, unfortunately, due to having a qualification for nationals already. So
cool. Well, thanks very much, man. Play well for the rest of the day.
Yep.